Ever wake up in that dream you just had? You know, it's like still kind of there in your head, like it's not quite finished.
That feeling of things continue, yeah, I think it's important here because, like last time we were looking at, you remember Tom, right?
Oh, yeah.
Getting pulled into Zara. Uh, Things didn't exactly end on a high note for him.
Yeah. I mean, abducted is putting it lightly.
Right. And we're not like doing a whole previously on thing. We're jumping right back in. No time to waste.
Yeah.
Where we left off.
Straight into the action. So, just so everyone knows, we're going deeper into this texto colado thing, specifically the chapter called Presume, which, knowing Tom's luck,
Yeah. Doesn't exactly bode well.
nope. But this is what this whole deep dive is all about, right? Seeing how fast things can change when you're dealing with something completely, like, beyond your understanding. It's a good reminder for all of us, you know? Things can go sideways quick.
Yeah.
So we're going to focus on, like, what happens right after Tom gets taken and the really weird things that happen next. And it starts with him waking up, but not, like, in a dungeon or anything. It's this crazy fancy room. I mean, comfortable.
Yeah, I was struck by that contrast. Like, you have a huge bed, tons of pillows,
Yeah.
super luxurious, and yet out the window, it's this empty sky with just terror, looming. It's a weird mix of cozy and kind of oppressive. Makes you wonder what it means for Tom, right?
It does feel deliberate, doesn't it? Like, they planned this. There are, like, these ornate cupboards, tables full of stuff, bookshelves packed, pictures on the wall. It's definitely rich, but also, kind of like you said, almost too much, like a really nice cage. And then as Tom's looking around, the door opens, and it's Zaza.
The way she's described when she comes back, it's interesting. Like, her clothes aren't as showy this time, and her voice is described as ternos, like tender. Almost like she's trying to be less intimidating after, well, attacking him. What do you think about sudden change?
Yeah, it feels calculated.
Yeah.
Right, and she actually kind of apologizes, says she was worried because of those fools, that something bad happened to him. It almost sounds like she means it, but there's something off about it.
And Tom's reaction,
Yeah.
he's a putasso.
Yeah.
Furious, even angrier than with that mage before.
Oh, yeah, totally.
And her reply, it does have that apology, but then it shifts, like right away to, here I have freedom and I do as I want. Like emphasizing that she can do what she wants. In her world, she's got the power. It's like they're on totally different pages.
Absolutely. She even touches his face. And Tom, he's still so confused. He doesn't even react. But then he asked the question, the one we're all thinking, what do you want? What is all this for? He's thinking, okay, maybe I can go home now. Maybe she'll let me go. He's worried about Trat, who got hurt, trying to help him.
Yeah, that's the turning point.
Yeah.
Because her answer, well, it's a curveball. Soon I will be at the blessed age of matrimony, and you will be my spouse. I mean, talk about unexpected.
Whoa.
What does this tell us about Zara? Like their customs, how their society works?
Definitely not what you'd expect, right? And Tom's reaction, I think it's perfect. Tom Maluka, you're
Yeah.
crazy. He even points out, like, they don't know each other. He's way too young for this, especially in some, alien world.
And she kind of tries to see how he feels about it. Didn't think you'd find it so bad to be with me, don't I please you? And she, shows a bit more of herself physically. The interesting part is, Tom thinks, okay, she's not unattractive, for Zara standards, but he doesn't feel anything for her species.
Makes you think, what is attraction, really? Is it just looks?
Yeah.
Or something more?
Yeah, really makes you think. And then he tries that whole, this golem body can't have kids, thinking that'll be the end of it. You'd think so, right?
But her solution, even weirder. She'll just get another husband for, making babies. She's interested in Tom and what he knows. And then there's that detail, her hand moving down and Tom pulling back. It's pretty creepy, honestly. And then she makes that threat almost casually about Trat. If you don't want your acquaintance to be harmed, I suggest you think carefully about us. Like, wow, okay, no pressure. And she just leaves him there, totally stunned. He's trying to process it all, the attack, the marriage thing, how powerful she is. Which, by the way, lines up with what Trat said about her being an emissary, probably of Gaul. And as if that wasn't enough, bam. Blinding light.
Par's entrance. How subtle, huh?
Not at all.
And that voice, Tomás, we need to address your current situation. Even before he sees her, he knows who it is.
Right, because that voice, it's hard to forget.
And when he can see, she's this golden mist, like a vague version of her statue. What do you think that means, her looking like that?
That's a good question.
Is she limited somehow in Zara?
Maybe. But Tom's reaction, I think it's what anyone would feel. Ah, now you appear. Don't you think you're a little late? Like, where were you during all that craziness?
Totally a fair point. And Carr's explanation is, well, interesting. Unfortunately, I couldn't do anything to protect you in your conflict.
Conflict is an interesting way to put it.
Right. And when Tom asks why not, she says it was an important experience for your learning of the arts. Now, what do you make of that? Is she serious? Like a divine being teaching a lesson? Or something else?
I mean, Tom's response is pretty much what I'd be thinking. Seriously. Being impaled was really enlightening. Kara saying she couldn't interfere with an emissary of Gaul, it does feel a bit convenient, doesn't it?
It does. Like, are there rules between these powerful beings? Maybe some non-interference agreement.
Makes you wonder.
Yeah. Carr talks about this important lesson and expects him to overcome it. It's like that idea of, going through hardship to learn,
Yeah.
but taken to the extreme.
Well, Tom's not buying it. Yeah, totally overcame it. 100%. Woohoo, he mutters. I can't blame him. So naturally, his first thought is, now get me out of here. I don't want to be with this crazy woman for another second. Escape.
But there's a problem, and it's a big one. That bracelet she put on him, it's blocking him from going back to Carr's chapel. All she can do is send his mind back to his body. This bracelet is a whole new level of control.
Oh, right. For a second, he's actually relieved. Thinks he's going home. Didn't even notice the silver bracelet on his arm.
But then Carr says, the golem body, it's still there, and Zaza still controls it. So if he goes back to it, same problem. The bracelet is the key. And when Tom tries to take it off, nothing. He can't.
Stuck.
Stuck.
But Tom, you gotta give him credit. He doesn't give up. Thinks he can deal with the bracelet later. Right now, it's all about getting out of Zara. Get me out of here. I'll figure out what to do to solve this later. I mean, he's trying to be positive, but that's some serious denial.
Maybe a little.
And then another flash, and suddenly he's back in his own bed. His alarm's going off, but it's like way off, not the right time. 1 minute he's in this weird alien world, the next, back in his room.
Harsh transition.
Seriously. And he's super late for school. So late that his mom came in and reset the alarm. He feels terrible, probably, from whatever happened in Zara.
Makes sense.
But it's interesting, even though he's late and feels awful, the first thing he thinks about is telling his friends. Like, he needs to talk to them, tell them what happened.
He needs that connection to process it all.
Exactly. He feels a little better after a shower, but his head's still spinning. Zara, which used to feel like this escape, now it's hostile. He doesn't think Zaza will hurt him physically, but it's clear she wants something he doesn't want to give. He even puts on long sleeves to hide, like marks or something.
Hiding the evidence.
Yeah, and he packs those Zara notebooks in the translator. Like, he's not done with that world, even though it was awful. He needs to show his friends. Maybe they can figure something out.
Right. He can't go through this alone.
So at breakfast, it's this weird mix of normal, everyday stuff and this crazy secret he has. His sister Tiana's barely awake, and he tries to explain to her and his mom, Tanya, that he was imprisoned in Zara. But he leaves out the worst parts, like, the whole forced marriage thing.
Too much to explain.
Way too much. And his mom, she just thinks it's something from his games.
That's the thing. How do you explain this stuff to people who haven't been there?
Almost impossible. His sister, though, she seems to know there's more to it. Says she wants details later. She's always been good at seeing through his, his stuff.
Intuitive.
Totally.
Yeah.
So Tom runs to school, gets there just as the bell rings for third period, almost bumps into Mr. Baker, his history teacher.
Mr. Baker.
He's passionate about history, bless him.
Even if the kids aren't always super into it.
Not always,
Yeah.
no. So Baker starts talking about, patriarchy, and it actually gets the class listening for a minute. It's like relevant to them, He explains where the idea came from historically.
Classic Mr. Baker.
Yeah. But then Tom asks this question. That's a good one, especially after what he just went through. He asks if, a society where strength wasn't everything, where men and women were equal, could it end up with women in charge?
Whoa. He's connecting the dots.
Right. And Baker, he actually answers seriously. He says, yeah, there have been matriarchies in history. It's not just a theory. He even talks about religion influencing how societies are structured. And that's when it clicks for Tom.
About Zara.
Zara. He realizes, because of this history lesson, that Zara might be a matriarchy, which explains a lot. Why Trat acted the way he did, why Zaza is so dominant. It's amazing how, random pieces of information can suddenly make sense of something totally confusing.
It shows how important it is to learn about different things. You never know what might be useful.
Right. So Baker, he's just happy the students didn't completely zone out. Tom heads out to the yard with Rafa, gives him a cleaned-up version of his weekend, leaves out the interdimensional kidnapping and the forced marriage proposal.
Understandable. He's still processing it all. Hard to tell the whole story when you're still figuring it out yourself.
Totally. They meet up with Susie, who is talking to April, Mandy's cousin, which is kind of weird because April's not exactly the social butterfly.
No, she's not.
As Susie comes over, Rafa's like, okay, tell us what really happened. And Susie, she notices something about Tom, says he looks kind of different. It's like Zara changed him somehow.
Makes sense.
Eh.
Trauma does that, even if it's not visible.
Yeah. So Tom finally tells them his crazy weekend in like 5 minutes. And when he mentions those notebooks, the translator, Susie grabs them. Then, as he's describing the train fight, she's like, huh,
What is it?
that translator, it has a hidden feature. Turns out it can speak.
What?
Yeah. The Zurian words, it can say them out loud.
Plum didn't know about that.
Nope. He's always been using the golem voice, you know?
Oh, right.
So Rafa's like, what was that, you crazy person? Susie's all excited, explaining how it works. You just tap the words. She describes the sounds like Arabic and hissing. Rafa figures it out fast, of course.
He would.
Susie's even teasing him for like playing with magic. A little much-needed humor around.
Yeah.
So Tom finishes his story, the fight with Zaza, the whole weird, uncomfortable time in her room. He even mentions that bracelet.
Forever trapped by this bracelet.
Yeah, that's not good. And then we switch to Mandy. She sees them and gets this really bad feeling about Tom. Probably Shad's influence, you know. It's like he's making her not want to be around Tom. Crazy how that works, right? External forces messing with your feelings.
It's insidious.
But while Mandy's trying to figure that out, April starts texting her, asking if Tom plays RPGs.
RPGs.
Out of the blue.
Totally random. Mandy's confused, obviously. I mean, where'd that come from?
April asking her to eavesdrop. That's not good. Feels like she's trying to find out something about Tom. For what reason? Who knows?
It's definitely suspicious. So Mandy tries to listen in, and what does she hear? Tom telling this crazy story about being captured, magic, explosions. To her, it sounds exactly like an RPG.
Oh no, classic misunderstanding. She's taking what he's saying and fitting it into what she knows. RPGs. It happens all the time, right? Our brain's trying to make sense of things.
Makes sense, but not in this case. The bell rings, end break. Everyone heads to class. Tom and Rafa are almost late for art. Mandy's in that class too, and she's still getting those weird vibes from Tom.
Can't blame her.
So their assignment is to paint a self-portrait, but without using a mirror.
It's about how you see yourself, not what you actually look like. Rafa's totally lost.
I can imagine.
Like, how do you paint yourself without looking?
It's a challenge, but I guess that's the point, right? To look inward, figure out who you are on the inside. Especially relevant for Tom, considering he was literally someone else for a while.
Yeah, heavy stuff. Rafa, bless him, decides to just paint a random red-haired guy and hope for the best. But Tom, he starts sketching, like without even thinking. He's still stuck in that Zara mindset, worried about that shantanyn. And while they're working, their teacher, Root, she explains the whole point of the assignment.
I like her already.
Root's all about expressing yourself. This is an opportunity for you to put on paper who Dennis, Laura, Raphael truly are.
Deep. Art as self-discovery, right?
Right.
Mandy, she's actually pretty good at art, so she's doing okay. Monochromatic, but still. Rafa, not so much. Root gives him this look like, really? But it's Tom's painting that gets her attention.
Uh-oh. What did he paint? It's interesting. Dark green skin, light pink eyes, like straight out his arm. I guess that golem body, it really got to him.
Subconsciously, yeah. Powerful stuff.
When Root asks him about the color choices, he's so flustered. Says something about not feeling very mature. It's so awkward and so funny.
I can picture it.
Rafa, he's of course the first one to start laughing, calls him Shrek.
Of course he does.
The rest of class is pretty normal, although Tom's still got that Shrek-colored portrait. The bell rings, they leave, Tom, Rafa, and Susie. And this is where things get really weird. Mandy and April, they see them in the hallway, and then poof, gone, like vanished into thin air.
That can't be good.
Yeah.
Right into that things continuing feeling, right? It's got to be the shantan.
And they end up in the schoolyard, just the three of them. Tom knows right away it's the shantanyn. They can hear stuff moving around inside the school. It's terrifying.
That thing is nightmare fuel. They describe it. This huge size, the face that looks almost human, those creepy hands on its tail, and it's tearing the school apart, blocking their way out. It's not just in Zara anymore. It's right there with them.
Thankfully, Susie's quick. She grabs Rafa, pulls him towards the lawn. Tom throws her his backpack, knowing those notebooks might have the answer. Rafa's frozen, though, scared stiff.
Makes sense.
Tom tries to do that psychic thing with the shantanyn like he did in Zara, but it doesn't work this time. It's like the creatures learn, or it's too angry to even think.
Evolve.
It roars, shows its teeth. It's all about attacking now. Susie and Rafa, they start going through those notebooks, but the translator's slow. Rafa's freaking out. He can't help. And the shantanyn gets ready to attack.
Oh.
So Tom, he does something desperate. He uses that Krasam spell. And all the plants, they start growing like crazy. I mean, fast and huge, blocking the shantanyn's way. It's totally different from when he tried it with Temilo. The plants are way stronger this time.
That's interesting. What do you think changed?
He's stronger somehow. But good news, bad news, right? Rafa and Susie, they can't believe it, but they're also relieved until they see that shantanyn pushing through those plants. And just like Timula said, the plants, they start dying.
Can't hold it forever.
Nope. So Tom, he takes a huge risk. He uses his amandla, that inner energy, to power up the plants, uses himself as bait. The shantanyn goes right for him, and then fire.
Fire.
Everywhere. The plants, the shantanyn, even Tom's shirt catches fire.
Oh, God.
Rafa, he doesn't even think. He rips Tom's shirt off, tries to put out the flames, and Tom falls, gets burned.
Rafa's a hero, honestly.
He is. But what about the shantanyn?
That thing, it breaks through the fire. I mean, it's on fire, but it doesn't care. It's just pure rage.
Sure.
And then Susie yells, she found the right enchantment.
Thank goodness.
She starts saying the words, "Tu querastejas en cuanto ando que lloras en meo pranto," and the shantanyn, it hears her, turns right towards her. It knows that language.
That's its weakness, maybe. Rafa sees this, and he attacks it with the burning shirt. It's crazy he gets knocked down, but he buys Susie some time.
Brave Kip.
Susie's horrified. But Tom yells, "Susie, continue!" He knows she has to keep going. So she does, but the next part, it doesn't make sense. Desprovido da graça dada, perdido no breu da farsa, Zanel te proverá de dádiva, assim que o tributo for cobrado. You need to involve the chosen being using what comes from within. Like, what does that even mean?
It's cryptic.
But Tom, he figures it out. It's about his amandla. He has to use it to control the shantanyn. So he focuses, feels that power inside him.
Like before, with the plants.
Yeah, but bigger. He says the whole enchantment, picturing his amandla wrapping around that creature, and then everything goes dark, like unnatural dark. These arms appear, like cars, but different. And this mouth, this huge oval mouth, just opens up in the darkness.
This is intense.
And the shantanyn, it gets swallowed whole by this thing. Gone! But Tom, he reacts badly. He throws up blood. Blood comes out of his eyes, nose, ears. He passes out as the light comes back.
That took a lot out of him.
Everything. Back in our world, it's just a normal night. Susie sees Rafa waking up, hurt but alive. She's so relieved. But then she sees Tom. He's in bad shape, really bad. She doesn't know what to do, how to explain this. But she calls for help.
Right, call. But what about Tom? Where is he?
He wakes up in this weird dream place. He's on a dark terrace in this underground city. Cartoonajori, it's called. There are these plants, they glow blue. It's creepy.
Not Zara, then. Somewhere else entirely.
And the other Tom, he appears, he's like, "Congrats on defeating the shantanyn." But then he's like, "You almost died?" No emotion, just stating facts.
Cold.
Calculated. Tom's first thought is about Rafa and Susie. Are they okay? He's a good friend. The other Tom, he's vague, doesn't really answer. And he's worried about Tom's body. The real one says it's messed up bad.
That coma car mentioned.
Yeah. Cartoonajori, it's like a slum, this underground place, nothing like Zara. And he reminds Tom about Bushcar, how dangerous it's going to be. Zaza's not going to be happy.
Definitely not.
He also says Car's not going to help unless it's like life or death. Tom's on his own, basically. And then he drops this bomb. Tom's stuck in his own mind right now. Maybe in a coma, back in the real world. They need to figure out what Zaza's planning with that golem body.
That's the priority now.
So Tom tries to get him to explain about that four-armed thing again, but the other Tom just laughs and says, "We're the same, remember?" He won't send him to any other golem places, says they're too dangerous, no help there. And then he won't tell him about his world. His original world says there's no time.
Typical. Always leaving us hanging.
He promises to tell him next time. And then Tom's back in that Zara bedroom, just like that.
Back and forth.
The bed's comfy and he just wants to sleep.
I don't blame him.
But then he realizes Zaza's in the bed with him. She's small, naked, asleep, holding on to him. It's really creepy seeing her like that with this, basically lifeless body.
She has no idea he's back.
No clue. She wakes up slowly, all lovey-dovey, cuddling the golem body.
This is so messed up.
She kisses it right where the heart would be. Then she kisses its face. And Tom, he finds himself kissing her back. It's instinctive, He forgets about Mandy for a second.
Just reacting. Can't really control it.
And Zaza, she gets more into it, touching him more. And Tom, he's like, whoa, this is weird. This body, it's being intimate, but he doesn't feel anything. And his real feelings, they're for Mandy.
Totally different situation.
Zaza asks, all slyly, how long he's going to pretend. Tom's like, oh, what? Not very convincing.
Busted.
And then she says something really strange. You have already tasted this, haven't you? Tom's like, what's she talking about? There's another one of those, cryptic hints.
Adding to the mystery.
Zaza gets out of bed, says there are clothes for him. Then she comes back, and she looks completely different. It's like a fancy white robe, kind of like a kimono and a corset. She has these ornate cuffs on, but they don't look tight, and a white crown. Tom can't even speak. She looks so, I don't know, powerful.
The emissary.
She explains it's because she's the emissary of Gaul. That's why she's dressed like that. Tom's surprised. He's only heard of Kar. This is a whole other deity. Zaza tells him about Gaul, how she was imprisoned by this other deity, Darif. He was all about pain and torture, but Gaul killed him in the end. But she's still stuck with these magical shackles.
Sounds rough.
Yeah. Zaza says Zara wouldn't exist without Gaul. It's her world, basically. Tom asks about those cuffs, if they hurt, and she shows him they're just for show. She even summons these golden arms, like over her real ones. Magic and ceremony all mixed together.
Fascinating.
So Zaza says she's taking Tom to learn their language, to a classroom. Timulo told her he couldn't read. Another problem for Tom, but it's also a chance to learn more about Zora.
Every cloud has a silver lining.
They go through this huge hall, and there's this statue of Kar. It's not like the one in the chapel. It's more human. She's reading a book. Her sword and crown are next to her. Then they go into this place that looks like a library. Tons of books. It's clear they value knowledge in Zara.
Makes sense.
And then they reach the classroom. So I was like, okay, study time. Someone will come get you later, or I'll be back. And she leaves, all formally.
Leaving him with no choice.
Tom thinks about escaping. There's a window, he can see those gardens, even Bushkar in the distance. Maybe Temulo's house is out there somewhere. But that bracelet, it's still there. He's stuck. So he goes into the classroom. What else can he do?
Well, that's where we leave him. In this crazy situation, his mind's a mess, his real body's who knows where, and he's back in Zara, learning their language. And Zaza, she's got her own plans. We just don't know what they are yet. Plus that trip to Bushkar.
Yeah, things are not looking good.
So what's Zaza really after? Is it just Tom's knowledge, or is there something more? And what's going to happen to him being split between these different places, these realities?
Yeah.
What about Bushkar? He defeated that shantanyn. Maybe that means more trouble, more attention he doesn't want.
This deep dive, it's just the beginning. So much more to uncover.
Think about it, how quickly things can change. And learning even something basic like a language. It can be the difference between, surviving or not, especially in a place you don't understand. What about your life? What seems small, unimportant now, that might actually be the key to something much bigger, maybe even dangerous.
Something to think about.
Definitely.